Hello. I just thought I'd do a little bit of a live. I'm trying to do more of these lives, and I wanted to talk to you guys today about Reiki, astrology, and holistic life skills. So what are these things and what is it that I'm actually doing? Because I have a lot of people who know what I do, but I don't explain it probably enough when I'm actually doing my social media and that as well. It's not my forte, I suppose. So first of all, Reiki. What is Reiki? Reiki is essentially working with energy. I have a lot of clients coming to me at the moment and they've never had Reiki. So there's a lot of people who are trying out this modality for the first time ever. So Reiki is essentially, as I said, we're working with energy. And the way I kind of make sense of it for people, which might sound a little bit strange, but bear with me, is if you have long hair, okay, if you don't brush your hair every day, you're gonna collect, debris and dirt and grime or whatever in it. And you might kind of say to yourself, oh, there's a big knot in my hair, I'll deal with that later. And later comes and we Netflix and we chill and we don't deal with the knot in our hair. And then we wake up the next day and we've got like dreadlocks, right? Or a nest in your hair. And our emotions are kind of the same really, because we're not really taught as humans how to deal with our emotions. We're actually not taught how to process our emotions. So what happens is we're in work, we're having a bad day, somebody says something to us and they upset us, okay? And so we kind of say to ourselves, oh, okay, I need to get on with my job, I don't have time to be upset. I just put it on the back burner, put it into my back pocket, and then I'll deal with it later. And later comes and we get home and we have it's Netflix and chill again, or we have to make our dinner, or just life happens and gets in the way. And that thing that came up earlier on, which could have been like a potential trigger or trauma, or something that really hurt you, or something that really affected your emotions, it never gets dealt with. Okay, so what happens is that emotion is energy in motion. That emotion gets kind of stuck and trapped in your auric field, in your energy field. And then you kind of just leave it there and life goes on, and another one builds up and another one builds up and another one builds up. And basically after a while what you get is like these energetic clogs, or these energetic knots, or these energetic tangles in your auric field, in your energy field. So Reiki, what it essentially does is it helps to realign your energy. It finds those knots, those kinks, and those kind of like blockages, and it helps to bring energy flow back into it and kind of release them and help you to let go of them. So how do we know when we've got blocks? You look at things like when I'm working with clients also, by the way, just to say, 9 times out of 10, people are not actually physically even, like they're not energetically in their physical body when they come to me for a Reiki session. So when I'm working on their energy, they feel like they're out here, okay? And I know that sounds like a very strange or weird concept, but some of the symptoms would be like, what's your memory like? If your memory is kind of scattered and detached and, you can't remember things, or, you think back on your day and you're like, what was I doing? Or time seems to be flying and time is kind of flying by. But you're like, cognitively you're there, but you're just so stressed out and overwhelmed that you don't really feel like you're remembering things, or you're feeling, say, anxious and overwhelmed, stressed out, freaked out, in fear. You're very jumpy, or you're kind of very reactive. These are all essentially signs and symptoms that your energy is clogged or off, or needs attention in some way, shape or form. I find for people who are, especially when it comes to memory and stuff like that, like when their memory is poor or they feel foggy in their head or whatever, it's quite often because they're hanging out up here. So why would we be hanging out up here? Because we have a cocktail of emotions going on in our body. So we have like fear, anxiety, overwhelm, stress. We're like worrying about the energy bills. Like, how are we going to pay the energy bills? How are we going to put the kids through college? How are we going to find kids accommodation? How are we going to put food on our plate? These are all very basic human needs. And we're getting a shake up at the moment with that as well. So we currently, just to kind of go on a side note with a bit of astro speak here, but astrologically we have Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is the planet of change. It's about sudden awakenings. It's basically the roller coaster planet that it shakes things up. Uranus is connected to rebellion, challenging the status quo, individuality, individualism, quirky, kind of strange, odd things, right? So if you're talking about Uranus and Taurus, Taurus is all about the physical body. It's about our needs. It's about our stability. It's about our, is the rent paid? Are my bills paid? Do I have water in? And have I had my dinner? Great, I'm going to go and just sit on the couch, and now that I know I'm secure, I'm happy. So Taurus is very much connected to the body, but it's also very connected to the earth because it's an earth sign. And when we have Uranus going through Taurus, we're going to have, and Taurus is also connected to finances, right? So Uranus in Taurus is like shaking things up in terms of our feeling of stability, our feeling of comfort, our feeling of being able to provide for ourselves. It's also shaking up the financial market as well. So we're feeling our basic needs, you know, from heat and electricity and food and water and the whole lot, that's being challenged right now, okay? So the planets aren't doing this to us. It's not like, oh, Uranus is in Taurus and it's just kicking our ass at the moment. It's not about that. It's about shaking our fingers loose from attachment to things around us. And it's uncomfortable. We get really attached to things, and then like we get really uncomfortable because we're prying our fingers off them. And these planetary shifts are really only there to bring us back into alignment. And being put back into alignment, it's not always comfortable. So you can either go kicking and screaming, or you can go face on and take the challenge as it's coming to you. The more work you're going to do on yourself, the more you get yourself back into alignment, the more you figure out who you are, what it is you're meant to be doing, what is your purpose, why are you here, and get into alignment with that, the less turbulence you're going to feel. You won't feel it as severely as somebody else who's just going to get a big, remember those big foam hands that used to be like, you know, when you've been tangoed and you get a smack in the face. It's going to be less like that because we're owning what's happening and we're really, really prepared for it. So this is kind of, I'm going off on tangents, it feels like, but it's actually all related because the work that I do has several different layers to it. I offer Reiki. Reiki is an amazing tool for bringing us back into balance, for clearing the blockages, for clearing out stagnant energy, for plugging us back into our energetic cells, into our body, for realigning our energy so we don't feel so scattered and overwhelmed and stressed out and anxious and fatigued and worn out and all these things, right? So Reiki works with your energetic system to be able to bring you back into balance and alignment. And I do that in person, but I also do distance Reiki as well. And actually, like, energy is energy. It's, you know, there's no such thing as time and space for energy for you to be able to work on. Some of my most amazing sessions have actually been through distance Reiki as well. So so that's the first thing. So I use Reiki to help people, bring people back into balance. Everything that I'm about is about empowering my clients. I'm not into, you know, just come to me for Reiki so you can just feel better and tootle on along your way. That's great, and there's lots of people who are going to help you do that. That's amazing. The work that I do is much more about empowering you, and it's about teaching you how to navigate your own life. So when you come to me for Reiki, we also do a little bit of holistic life skills. So whatever's going on in your life, I'm going to give you tools, and I'm going to give you practical day-to-day tools and things that you can do at home to help bring you back into balance as well. And I'm going to be able to teach you things like perspective shifting and boundaries and whatever it is that comes up. Everything that we have physically going on with us in our body, there's a metaphysical other for it, okay? So, and you would have seen in my previous videos. So if you have sore throats all the time, what are you not saying? What is the truth that you're not speaking? What is it that you want to say that you don't feel that you can say? Are you getting earaches all the time? What is it you're not listening to? What is it that you're not hearing or don't want to hear? Do you have stuff going on with your eyes all the time? Is it something that, like, what is it you don't want to see? Can you not see a way forward? Are you not seeing somebody's point of view? Maybe they're not seeing your point of view. So our body physically talks to us. And a lot of the work that I do it's making the woo-woo much more real, and it's making the woo-woo a lot more practical. And it's bridging the gap between total woo space cadet out there and real logical left brain world. And it's bringing the two of them together so that you can shift your perspective and be in a much more empowered position. Because I suppose really a lot of the people who are coming to me, they're disconnected with themselves. They don't know who they are. They don't know why they're here. They don't know what they're meant to be doing. So the Reiki helps you plug back in energetically and learn how to cope with life, so that you're in a much more kind of like core central position to be able to hold those boundaries, to be able to stand in your own power, in your own truth, and to be able to really, really function as a human in this world. When your energy is high and your vibration is high, when Reiki is really, really good, as say, for clearing all of your energies and helping you come back into alignment, then you can face the world, then you can face challenges, then you can cope with what life is throwing at you. And a lot of this is about shifting your perspective. If you feel that the world is after you and you're being like pushed down, you're just going to attract more of that. We need to shift your perspective to a place of empowerment and not disempowerment. And we're not talking about like codding yourself so that it's, you know, rainbows and unicorns. We're talking about really embodying like that perspective shift. Like when I work with affirmations as well, with people, it's not about like, oh, life is amazing and it's great, and life is amazing and it's great, and I'm going to repeat this 20 times and then life is going to be amazing and great. That's not how it works, right? So there's a process to affirmations. There's a process to how you put together an affirmation. There's a process to how you manifest. There's a process to how you use your language and how you use your feelings to embody that. And this is all the work that I do in my Reiki, in my astrology, in my holistic life skills. But depending on where you come in and what it is that you're looking for will depend on which modality you go for. So the Reiki is all about plugging back in. The astrology is all about I don't do predictive astrology. There is tons of astrologers out there doing predictive astrology. I personally don't do it because I think it's amazing. It's just not my area of specialty. Because for me, I have found in the past with astrology, when I had my astrology done and people were giving me predictions, and this is just me personally, this is before I knew astrology, I used to sit there and be like, you know, is it happening yet? Is it happening yet? And like what actually happens is you get to know all these different predictions and you're waiting for them. Instead of actively participating in your life, you're kind of like waiting for the pin to drop somewhere. And then what happens is you're missing the point of actually being in that energy and moving through it and using it to the best of your ability. So with the astrology that I do, I actually focus on who you are, why you're here, what it is you're meant to be doing, what your unique strengths, talents, your weaknesses, your unique wounding is, and how it is that you're meant to be using that. Again, years ago, I remember having my astrology done and I was like, that's amazing, but what do I do with it now? And it was like, this is all the information about you, but it's like, what am I meant to do with that now? Like, how am I meant to use that information, like, to get somewhere, for it to be beneficial and practical? Hey, Gubby. So what I do in my astrology is, I call it holistic astrology, because yes, I'm showing you who you are, why you're here, what your soul purpose is, what your life mission is, what your unique challenges and wounding and your unique strengths are. I'm showing you who you are because most people don't know who they are. Most people, when they're coming to me, they think they know who they are, or they think they know what they're meant to be doing with their life, and they're going off seeking all these things that they think they're meant to be doing, and actually they're facing the wrong way. And it's purely because this is a societal thing. We've been programmed to be going in a particular direction about success and status and money and la la la. And your chart sometimes can say, actually, hello, over here is actually where you're meant to be focusing. And because we've been programmed to face this way, we're like trying to fix parts of ourselves away. And so when we're trying to fix ourselves, we're actually actively rejecting ourselves. So we're saying, I don't like that part of me. I want to fix it by like cutting it out and throwing it away. That's actively rejecting yourself. You are not going to get any quicker to where you need to go by actively rejecting yourself. And the astrology that I do is to show you who you are so you can begin to own those parts of yourself. And instead of rejecting those parts of yourself, what we do is we have a look at them and see, what is the benefit of this? How can I use this in my life? What's the meaning of this for me to be able to use this to my own benefit in my life? And also to stop beating ourselves up. You know, I'm a Virgo sun. I know what it's like to beat myself up. Hugely, right? I'm really good at it. Like, if I'm good at anything, it's about being really tough on myself. Any Virgos out there will totally get that. But the idea of seeing your own astrology and knowing exactly who you are, again, so you can own it, is so you can stop beating yourself up. You know, if Mary down the way is amazing at starting projects and you're not, instead of beating yourself up and being like, why am I not good at starting projects? Why can't I initiate this? And you see in your astrological chart that actually you're much better at like carrying the ball and getting it to the finish line than you are at starting it. Now you can stop trying to spend loads of money on fixing yourself when that's not who you are anyway, and spend more time on actually embracing who you are and being like, do you know what? I'm amazing at this. So what I need to do is collaborate with somebody else who's really good at starting things, because I know that that's my weakness. And it's also my superpower, because the people who can start things, generally, not always, but sometimes they can be the people who are not so good at the middle part or the end part, okay? So we have to get out of this mentality of I need to be everything and I need to fix the world and I need to be absolutely perfect. We need to look at the parts of ourselves that we've disowned and that we've been trying to fix, spending loads and loads of money on trying to fix it, and then being like, oh, that's just who I am. Wow, I spent like years trying to figure out how to get rid of that, and I can't because it's me. And so the old saying of you can't fix what's not broken, it's a little bit like that. So if you've been spending hundreds and hundreds and thousands of euros on books and courses and counselling and therapy and all these different, like being to gurus and doing all these different things, and you're trying to like fix this part of yourself away, and you keep coming back full loop to the same place that you finished, you have to eventually ask yourself the question, why can't I fix this? Maybe it could be because it's not time for you to fix it, in fairness. Or it could be like, oh, that's kind of just who I am. And now that I know who I am, I can just own it and now start to work with that. So that's the astrology, right? The astrology will also look at like, you know, career, relationships, all that kind of stuff. Depending on what it is that you're struggling with, it depends on what we go into with the astrology. It's a 2-hour session. It's huge amount of information. I give away a couple of freebies with it. I have a grounding and energy clearing meditation, which people love. I love that one as well. And it helps you to be able to focus for the session, because there is a lot to take in. There's a pre-session video about the birth chart and how to read it. And then there's also, what else is there? There's a workbook as well that you get, that reflections workbook, which really helps you to dive deeper in. So the astrology part is all about, yes, showing you who you are, but like telling you what it is you need to do to be able to work with that. So again, I bring in bits of the holistic life skills and things that you can implement in your life to be able to work with those areas that are a little bit more challenging. And then the third thing I do is holistic life skills. So you've heard me saying that I bring it in through the Reiki where needed, I bring it in through the astrology where needed. And really when I'm doing Reiki or astrology, I'm so focused on them that the holistic life skills is just like a little bit on top of that. The holistic life skills that I do is an 8-week program. It's 8 weeks. So it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours per week of essentially building up your practical day-to-day toolkit. So in the first week, there's 5 tools that we implement straight away. And those tools are what's going to build your foundation for you to be able to tap into your intuition, for you to be able to cope with your emotions, for you to be able to interpret your world and your experiences to know what's the message in this, what's the signpost in this, what is happening in these repetitive experiences that I'm not able to see or I'm not able to read. You know, why do I keep meeting these kind of people over and over again? Why does this keep happening to me? Why do these events keep happening to me? And to be able to interpret those experiences, not like I'm a really, you know, shitty human and now, you know, this is what I deserve, because that's not how it works. But it's like, okay, nobody's ever taught us that we're supposed to be able to read the symbolism in it. You know, if you keep meeting that people or that person over and over again, whether it's a relationship or friendship or whatever, work colleague or whatever it is, or that event keeps on happening over and over again, there's gold in that. There is gold in it. It's trying to show you something that either you're not owning or you've disowned in yourself, that you need to re-own. And as soon as you do it, and again, the holistic life skills, we talk about this. This is what we work on, is showing you how to twist these perceived like things that are happening to us and like shift into a place of like, I know what that's about now. Now I can figure out how to work on me to be able to move forward. So that it's really beautiful to see, because as soon as we figure out like why this thing is happening over and over again, as soon as you bring it into conscious awareness, there's a feeling and a resonance you get in your body that's like, oh my God, I know that that's it. And as soon as you get that, now you can release it and let it go. It actually, you don't even need to release it and let it go. It does it by itself. So when you start to be like, I know what that's about, oh my God, I can see that. It's seeing the signposts and reading them on like, which way is this sending me and what is the purpose for it, is huge. Literally, it will transform your life. And this is an 8-week program. I would say most of my clients who do the 8-week program have smashed it in week 2, week 3. They come to me with like this particular thing that they want to do, and they've smashed it in week 2 or 3. And then we're like readjusting for what they want to focus on. So I do this in one-to-one sessions, but I'm also doing group work as well. I kind of open up the group work every couple of months. It's slightly different in the group work sessions because it's less personal. It's more general, but you'll still get a very foundational level as to how to get your teeth stuck into these holistic skills. So as I said, in the first week, you get your 5 core practices that you're going to implement, that's going to bring you back into your body. It's going to help you to understand yourself more. You're going to reconnect with who you are. You're going to reconnect with your intuition and be able to learn what are those little nudges I'm getting. How do you listen to your intuition? It's unique for everybody. But in this course, you're going to learn how to do that. And you'll learn it really damn quick. You know, if you put in these 5 core practices, you'll learn it really, really quick. And then for the rest of the weeks, we're going to look at different things like signposting, emotions, how to tap into them. We look at EFT tapping. We look at a little bit of astrology, because I know people love that as well. And we coach really personal based on what it is that you need. There's tons of things that we look at, all the different free things in nature that help us point us home to the clues of where our answers lie. And it's really, we've been born with everything we need to know. We just have to be taught how to tap into it and use those resources. So the holistic life skills is really showing you how to come back into balance, learn how to cope with life when life throws challenges at you, and learn how to make the best out of the situations that you previously thought were challenges, and how to turn them into your superpowers, your super weapons and your superpowers. And literally, it's just so transformative, and I love all the work that I'm doing. So I just said I'd come on and tell you about it, because I realise that I probably don't, there's so much to say. I've got Virgo, so I have a lot of Mercury in my chart, communication basically, but there's so much to say. I find it really hard to put it into like little posts, a little post saying this, a little post saying that, and I'm like, I need a week to talk about it. But anyway, that's just a taster. I won't go on for much longer. I hope that this has been helpful to give you a clue as to what I do. I do lots of other things as well that I just don't advertise, because I just try to keep my attention focused. Like I do reflexology as well here in Dublin for anybody who wants to do face-to-face sessions. The astrology is done over the internet. It's done on Zoom. And I actually do the coaching on Zoom as well, because I'll be able to bring up stuff on the screen screen as we're talking. So the only stuff I really do face to face is the Reiki and the reflexology. My background is I've just studied loads of different modalities, and like I've studied herbal medicine in all the different countries I've traveled to, in India and Indonesia, Malaysia and Colombia and Scotland and Ireland and whatever. I've never fully qualified, but I have studied herbal medicine everywhere. So I love anything that's a natural remedy that's abundant in the world around us and accessible to us. We should be taught how to use these things. We should all know how to forage. We should all know how to use natural medicine. We should all know how to like look after our basics and things that don't cost us money, you know. Anyway, that's a whole other rant and a whole other video. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your patience and for watching the video. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, or send me a direct message. If you want to have a chat and you're curious, just let me know as well. Send me a message. If you know somebody who's struggling at the moment, who is struggling with, like, you know, health issues, relationship issues, career issues, life issues, they're, you know, down and depressed and feel like they are searching for their purpose. These are all things that I work really closely with. Whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, they're all my area. I have tools for everything. So if you know somebody who this could help, do send it on to them. There's a lot of people who don't know how to find this information, and Google and Facebook and Instagram algorithms are really, really crap at sending people the stuff that they really need to see. So if you know somebody that you feel might be interested or would like this information, send it on to them, please. And I hope you're all looking after yourself, and I shall talk to you soon. Bye.